Once upon a time. Welcome to Australian Book Lovers, your destination for imagination.
Australian Book Lovers acknowledges First Nations peoples and recognises their continuous connection to country, community and to culture. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and honour the sharing of traditional stories passed down through generations. We're committed to a safe and inclusive welcome for authors and readers of all cultures and backgrounds, including people of LGBTQIA+ communities and their families.
Welcome to everyone today to the Australian Book Lovers podcast. We are episode 173 and our mission is not only about celebrating and sharing fabulous Australian and Indigenous authored books of all genres with readers around the globe. It's about finding fantastic resources and information for authors looking to write their first or next book, and what better resource than getting into the writer's room of some of those authors and asking them to share their experiences. So I am Laurie Bell, science fiction and fantasy author, flash fiction writer, short story writer, bit of everything in between, and reviewing a few books at the moment. And I am coming to you today from Wurundjeri Wurrung country.
Which is brilliant and cold over there, and I am still on the road, but coming to you today from the beautiful Menang country, which is part of the larger Noongar nation here in WA, and I'm coming from Kinjarling, and if anybody knows where that is. No,
sorry,
excellent.
no.
That's that's all right. In fact, it's Albany. That's all right. No, it's original
yes.
name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Kinjarling, but this is Albany, and they've done some fantastic work over here, double naming things, or renaming back to dual naming what some of the original owners had here, and it's absolutely beautiful place, part of the world, whatever that you might like to say, and we'll be touring a little bit later. But in the meantime, we have got with us Debbie O'Shea. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Debbie.
And whose country are you on today, Debbie?
I'm on Turrbal country, just north of Brisbane.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Beautiful part of the world up there. A little bit warmer, dare I say it, than what we are down here?
It's pretty gorgeous at the moment.
Yeah.
The beginning of winter. I'm in a t-shirt.
Oh, look, I've got the cardigan.
I've got like 14 layers on.
That's lovely. Beautiful. And I do like your t-shirt. I love the tie-dye. That's absolutely gorgeous. Yes, and goes with your book. Thank you. And also, good morning, Hacia Atherton.
Well, good evening for me. I'm actually currently in Florida. So
there you go.
Good morning for all of you. I'm in the future right now.
Oh, and it's in you'll be a lot warmer than us coming into summer there.
Yes. Especially at the moment, I'm in Miami. So it's extremely hot in Miami. I had an interview just up the road, like half a kilometer, and I actually got an Uber the half a kilometer because otherwise the hair and the makeup would have been completely melted in the Miami heat if I walked that half a kilometer.
Oh, that's lovely.
Back in Australia, I'm from Melbourne, so the Wurundjeri.
Beautiful. Lovely. All right. Thanks very much. All right. And our third author is Valentyna Solowij. No, let me do that one again. Our third author is Solowij. Yes. Okay.
Beautifully
Valentyna.
pronounced. Well done, you. Good morning. How are you all?
Good morning.
Very well. Yeah. Whose traditional country are you on, Valentyna?
I'm on the Ghana country. I am in Adelaide currently.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Yes. Yeah. And we did spend some time whizzing through South Australia to get to WA, but we'll be whizzing back to it very soon. It's another beautiful
Do stop sometime. It's worth stopping and seeing a few things.
Yes.
We're all around Australia today, this podcast.
Isn't that lovely?
Absolutely.
And the US. Amazing.
And US. International.
International. That is fantastic. All right. Let's start with a nice, easy one, I hope, and thank you all for sending back some responses to our questions. I'm going to start with you, Debbie. So we're going to read your blurb and also a little bit about your bio and then ask you a question. Debbie's book is The Stalagmite Effect: How Small, Consistent Actions Build Extraordinary Lives. A celebration of the small stuff. Yay! The daily habits, tiny choices, and quiet persistence that most of us overlook, and why they might just be the secret to building an extraordinary life. Music educator Debbie O'Shea introduces a framework for growth that challenges everything our hustle culture tells us. Drawing on 44 years of experience teaching young people, she shows how meaningful change, whether in ourselves, our relationships, or our communities, happens through patient, persistent effort over time, just like a stalagmite forms from thousands of tiny water drops, each carrying minerals that slowly accumulate into something solid and enduring. Our lives are shaped by the small deposits we make each day, which is absolutely beautiful. So Debbie is in 2000, founded, I was going to say she defended, that's not right. In 2000, Debbie founded Crescendo Music Education to support and inspire teachers beyond her own classroom. Her initiatives include the Together Sing program, which unites thousands of voices to promote mental health and music education, and Here's a Thought, 365 days of encouragement for educators navigating the daily challenges of their work. The Stalagmite Effect is her first book, written from the heart and grounded in decades of real classroom stories. It's for anyone who's tired of quick fixes and ready to build something extraordinary, slowly, steadily, and sustainably. Debbie lives in Queensland, as we've heard, where she continues to teach, write, and champion the power of small actions. Well, that is brilliant, Debbie.
Wow. Yeah.
And
And so true.
Yeah, and so true. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write The Stalagmite Effect.
There is always that one day I'd like to write a book that sits in the back of your mind. But I think it all became crystal clear at the end of 2024 when that analogy of the stalagmite building up, the stars aligned, if you like. And I thought, no, this captures the whole thing for me. However, the stalagmites are all, they're not the beautiful one colour you see. Mine are multicoloured ones. Because I think it just captured what I wanted to tell the world from all of my experiences, and especially from teaching, but not only teaching, that you don't see instant results. It's that little bit. I used to use an analogy of water torture. I used to say, teaching's like water torture. Drip, 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 drip. And then I thought that's a little bit too negative, even though that's how it can feel some days. I thought a building up analogy was just much closer to the truth for a start. And I told a colleague friend of mine, and she said, you know what you should do? And I went, do you think I should write a book? And she said yes. And I took a little bit of time off teaching and wrote it.
Fantastic.
Well done, you.
Yeah, and there it is. Okay, that's brilliant. All right, yeah. Laurie, we'll come back because there's more questions in there. And I will say that I didn't go down because I was busy doing some ABL stuff, but there's some beautiful caves over here, and they went and looked at the stalagmites, and some of them, the little straws are up to sort of 6 meters, and they say years and years and years and years. So I think it's a beautiful analogy, Debbie.
Thank you.
Yeah, much better than water torture.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about $1 Billion Blindspot. What is your workplace culture costing you? So Hacia has written this one, but let me tell you, so Hacia Atherton was an equestrian at an elite level, training to represent Australia at the World Equestrian Games. And in 2017, her horse reared and fell directly onto her, crushing her pelvis and destroying her nerves. She was told she'd spend life in a wheelchair, but took her first supported steps less than 6 months later. Despite enduring countless obstacles and over 30 surgeries since the accident, Hacia completed her first half marathon in 2021.
Whoa.
That's insane. The determination and focus that carried her through the recovery became central to her approach to leadership. And today, Hacia helps leaders turn culture from a soft initiative into a P&L lever. The book exposes a blind spot tax leaders pay via disengagement, avoidable turnover, and poor mental health, and shows how to attack those costs with tools that leaders already have. Woof. So that is quite a journey that you've been on. Let me just tell you a little bit more about Hacia. So, you are a globally recognized and award-winning voice in workplace culture reform, known for helping organizations turn burnout and bias into retention and results. I'll tell you what, that's needed at the moment. She's a founder of the non-profit Empowered Women in Trades, which supports women in male-dominated industries and promotes inclusive workplaces. With women only about 3% of the skilled trades in Australia, EWIT works to show that women bring unique and indispensable value to those fields. And she's currently serving on Victoria's Our Equal State Reference Group, advising the state's gender equality strategy, and on the La Trobe Business School Advisory Board. Through her keynote speaking and executive coaching, she equips leaders to elevate culture, probably evaluate as well, but to elevate culture and psychological safety, and in turn yield tangible results. Wow, Hazy, what inspired? Well, I guess we've got a bit of the inspiration there on your determinism, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
more.
So a lot of the inspiration behind the work I've done now was born in hospital. I had so many dehumanizing moments in hospital with how they had to wash me because I was non-weight bearing. So they had to transfer me into this really cold, hard plastic bed, wheel me through the corridors of the hospital with like a towel and a blanket on me, naked underneath, and hose me down like a racehorse with kind of almost a stranger, washing all the parts that need to be washed on your body. And those moments were very dehumanizing. And when I got better and started going into the workplaces, especially a lot of the male-dominated workplaces I was going into, I witnessed a lot of those dehumanization moments through how people were being spoken to or treated, disregarded, all different things. And I really thought in hospital, how I got washed and how you get treated in hospital, it's very hard to change those processes that at the end of the day, to wash a non-weight bearing person is how you have to do it. But in the workplace, there is no reason to have those dehumanization moments. There is no reason to have a space where human beings are not thriving, aren't psychologically succeeding, aren't coming to work to be nurtured, to be growing. So then I think had that deep connection of my personal experience and thought I can't take it away in a hospital environment, but I can very much address it in the workplace.
Lovely. Wow. Oof. I'm in workplace, I'm in an office, and I tell you, it is needed.
You need to book Hacia in. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick introduction and storytelling. We're going to hear about, get my words together. I'm immediately, Hacia, sorry, because I work in a hospital and I teach leadership. So, there's a lot of things going, yes, no, yes, no. So let me just get my head back into the game. Here we are back in Australian Book Lovers. And I'm going to talk to you about and Valentyna Hospital as well. We are looking at banishing back pain. Relief is within reach. Now, Valentyna has shared that back and neck pain affect millions of people, often becoming a recurring and frustrating cycle. Treatment may bring temporary relief, but the pain frequently returns. Physiotherapist Valentyna Solowij, through careful observation, noted back pain is often shaped not by a single injury, but by thousands of tiny unconscious habits repeated every day. I'm thinking stalagmites, but anyway, we're going on.
Yes, exactly what I was
I'm connecting that too.
Yes, absolutely.
And up to 25% of her patients experienced recurring symptoms. So Valentyna tested a new approach on herself. We don't know how ethical that was, but go, Valentyna. Instead of chasing pain in one or two areas, she treated the spine as a connected system. She introduced 4 simple stretching exercises and made deliberate changes to her daily movement habits. The results were transformative. Her pain eased, flexibility improved, and long-standing tightness disappeared. Importantly, banishing back pain does not promise to cure structural conditions such as disc bulges or osteoarthritis. Instead, it provides readers with a sustainable framework to manage pain, restore balance, and regain confidence in movement. That's a pretty big promise. I'm sure that would be like a shining star for lots of people who are, particularly, nurses with back pain. Let's not talk about that. All right.
I see a lot of nurses with
I
back
bet you
pain.
do. Indeed, indeed. A little bit more about Valentyna. As a physiotherapist with over 40 years' experience, she graduated in 1981 and completed a Master of Applied Science in Physio and specialising in orthopaedics. Influenced by leading thinkers in neurodynamics and clinical reasoning, she developed her approach to functional scoliosis and chronic lower back pain. Passionate about reducing the personal and social impact of back pain, Valentyna is dedicated to empowering people to better understand and manage their own bodies and pain. And what a critical and really important piece of work that you're doing.
Thank you. Coming back to the way that I develop it, I have a functional scoliosis. I worked all of this out on myself. And then when I worked out what worked for me, I started looking more closely at my patients. And I suddenly realized this person looks a bit like me. This person looks like me. Let's try this. And it's been something that's been a work in progress over the last 10, 15 years. And after 40 years or so, you accumulate so much knowledge, so much information, and you cannot impart that to someone in 20 minutes or 40 minutes. You overwhelm them. So I thought the best thing to do would be to write the book, take photographs, put in case studies of other people that I've worked with, and just help people to understand themselves how they may have come to this particular state. And what they can do. And I love your stalagmite. Was it stalagmite or stalactite?
No, stalagmite.
Stalagmite.
Stalactites hang on tight to the ceiling.
Okay.
Stalagmites might reach the top.
There we go. And it's a
Teacher
similar
always,
process.
Debbie.
It's a similar process that I say to people. You need to look. The reason you got into this state, my theory is, it's all the everyday little movements that you do, things that we do unconsciously. If you stop and look at those, you will find that you're able to change things. You will not change things immediately, but people see quite significant changes within a couple of weeks. The exercises are easy. Changing the habits is quite hard. And I did that wrong. I did that wrong. But within 2 or 3 weeks, it becomes almost second nature, and it's simple and manageable. And my patients have loved it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the responses of the people whose message you share, that is the thing that keeps you going, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And every day there's someone who tells me how grateful they are that, they understand what's happening. They know what to do. Yes, I knew it was because I did X, Y, and Z. Great. Knowledge is power. Now you can modify this. You can change that. You can take a break during the activity that you're doing. You know how to pace yourself. And back pain affects up to 80% of the population at some stage in their lives. So this sort of thing is very applicable to a huge number of people in the Australian population, and obviously worldwide as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Probably many, many writers as well, because we all sit hunched over our desks writing away or typing away.
People that we all sit too much. We sit to drive to work. A lot of us sit at work. We sit on the toilet. We sit for meals. We sit to socialize, and we sit in the evenings. We really, I say to my patients, really try about 50% of the day not to be sitting. So you have to be a bit more creative. And what can you do as a writer? Get yourself a standing desk. The fact that you're not sitting for extended periods and you go up, down, move. Your body is designed to move. It's like an expensive race car. You've got to run the car. You've got to run your body. And it's manageable, and you've got to think about how things are positioned. And once you understand the principles, it is relatively simple, but eventually, yes, you need to get up and do some stretches, but even just changing your position can make a significant difference.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Debbie,
Yes.
let's come back to you. Get ready. So nonfiction is, and the stories that you all have and have shared and put into a book, incredibly individual and incredibly generous of you to share your personal experiences. But there are specific audiences. So tell us a little bit about, Debbie, who is it that should read your book, and what is the message that you're trying to share with them?
My target audience in the first place has to be educators, but specifically music teachers, primary audience, because we're in a slightly unique situation. We're often not as respected or valued as other educators, who are also going through their own crisis of being respected as they should be. But it's not just for that audience. I really do feel, and it could just be because it's my book, I do feel it has a broader appeal. I've included stories beyond the classroom. However, I think it's quite interesting to have glimpses into a classroom if you've not been a teacher. So it has a broader appeal, I hope. I planned for it to have a broader appeal, but I do think it says something a little special for educators. And there is a subliminal message in there that music for all children is necessary. It should not be a nice to have little add-on, worse still, only available for the rich kids in the private schools. Or the parents who can afford lessons. And I'm actually not talking about specifically instrumental lessons. I'm talking about whole group lessons based on singing and moving and playing. Can I say I don't sit much in my workday? So I think it's for everyone. Everyone needs a music education for the unique cognitive, social and emotional benefits. I know that sounds rehearsed because I say it all the time. And I want anyone who reads this book to go, oh, actually, music is important for our kids, and to stop dismissing it. And that's a message to all you politicians and decision makers out there.
I totally agree with that. Just purely because my niece is a drummer and she's in a band and she's amazing, but that's been her biggest connection with school has been through music. So I'm definitely gonna support you there, Debbie.
Yeah, and it gives children a different language, and I love the way that music works in the brain. It helps with learning other languages, but it also helps with mathematics, and the neurophysiology behind all of those things is fantastic. So I will say that all my kids had some music. I did the Suzuki piano, and I have my son can play any instrument that he sees, and he just loves it, and he'll just strum or drum or do whatever. And I brought my husband, who is absolutely non-musical, not a musical bone in his body, but he always wanted to play the banjo, so we brought in the banjo. He strummed with it for a couple of weeks, and then my son took it over, and now he plays it. So yes, we thought that'd be nice to have the banjo around the campfires, but no, that's a little bit odd to the side, Debbie. But I think you're right in recognizing that the message has a broader appeal, and the analogy of the stalagmites and understanding the creative and the need for all of those things to be a part of children's worlds is just so important. Music teachers, yay. Valentyna. Oh no,
Yes.
Hacia, sorry. was your shot. Let's go with you. So your particular target audience and the key message, and tell us about, your framework.
So my book is definitely for leaders. If you're leading a team or you are out there as a sole entrepreneur and need to lead yourself, because that can be the hardest leadership role, I think, is leading yourself as well. And basically, my book is very much focused on how you bring that positive psychology into your day-to-day self-leadership and then your leadership of your team, and really starting to address the basic psychological needs we all have as humans, whether a male or female, regardless of the color of our skin or the religion we believe in. All human beings need to have autonomy, a sense of competence, and a sense of belonging. And we spend so much time at work, and often those three elements are very much ignored in work because there's rules, there's processes, there's procedures, there's being told how to do something, and you lose that sense of autonomy sometimes at work. And sometimes, again, you're given tasks that are very challenging, but not given the support or the education to help you deliver on that, which really threatens your competence level. And then the sense of belonging, I find a lot of leaders very much struggle to understand, how do you create a sense of belonging, especially in a diverse workplace and a diverse team. And that's where my passion really lies, in how do we create respectful relationships so that we understand what a sense of belonging looks like for each individual on our team. And then as a leader, how do we lead from that? How do we communicate with that person that makes them feel a sense of belonging? How do we celebrate that person in the team that makes them feel a sense of belonging? Some people don't like being called out in a team huddle, even if they've done a good job. They would prefer a private, pat on the back or a private message. Some people love being called out in front of the team for their good work. So the book is really around, one, how do you understand that for yourself? Because again, when I ask a lot of people, what's a sense of belonging to you? You'd be amazed how many people can't even answer that question for themselves. Now, if we can't answer it for ourselves, how can we answer it on the behalf of our team? And how can we lead to creating a sense of belonging if we cannot even answer it ourselves as leaders?
Yeah, it's such an important. Oh, look, you and I could just have a several hours conversation about positive psychology and leadership. And I, as I mentioned, talk about I coach leadership. And who's your favorite positive psychologist? Who's you've got Seligman on your website, and
Yes, Seligman with PERMA. I love the
yes,
PERMA framework. That's everything.
yes, it is.
And then definitely Emerson with psychological safety,
Yeah,
and the high quality connections as well with her name escapes me now. Starts with F. It will come to me.
Fredrickson.
Yes,
Yeah, Barbara Fredrickson.
Fredrickson.
Yes.
They're probably my mix of my three favorites, and their
Yeah.
frameworks are just incredible.
They are, yeah. We also use Kim Cameron's Positive Organizational Scholarship, which is just fantastic. Works
Ah,
really well. Yeah, it's lovely. So,
incredible.
yeah. And Carol Dweck, love her stuff as well. It's beautiful. All of these things, and yeah, the teachers going, yeah, Carol Dweck, fixed
Yeah, yeah.
fixed mindsets. So it's about reframing and creating that culture that means that positive is the way to go, because humans are wired negatively for survival, but we don't need that necessarily, although maybe these days we do a little bit. But we have to rewire our brains. And, Valentyna, you would know this, with the neurophysiology, getting those
Absolutely.
muscles to, you do things
Yeah.
and create the habit. And we need to create that habit, and the sort of emotional intelligence with the positive psychology. Love it. So yeah, Hacia, fantastic.
And
Really
just having
good.
those courageous conversations. I always use an
Yeah.
example of someone who brought in a sweet from their culture. They wanted to share their culture with the team, so they
Yep.
made a sweet. And not everyone on the team enjoyed sweet food, but everyone thought, being positive, they would take it, say thank you, and then they threw it in the bin. And she actually saw her food in the bin.
Oh,
So when
Oh
no.
I
no.
know. So but I saw it as an amazing opportunity when I found that out, to have a meeting to say, look, what is actually positive relationships and respectful relationship is communicating that you are not a sweet tooth, you don't like sweet food. Get curious. What savory food do you like? What savory food is something that you really enjoy in your culture? Could we go and have that together at lunch next week, or next time you cook, could you bring in sweet and savory? So that's a beautiful, positive psychology way of not offending her, of explaining you just don't enjoy sweet food, and then getting curious of how obviously she's creating a sense of belonging through food, how you connect with that sense of belonging with your sense of belonging, which is savory food, not sweet food. I think that's just a beautiful example of where being toxic positive ended up being disrespectful.
Yeah. And the danger is that people go, oh, yes, but it's just two unicorns and rainbows. But that's absolutely not what it's about. And I've had leaders say, but how can I discipline somebody or say they've done the wrong thing and still be positive? And then you can work through, telling them that it's not allowing bad behavior by always being, super happy. It's completely different. Yeah. So fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, we could talk for ages on
Oh,
that
we
topic.
could.
for
But
sure.
I
anyway.
love helping leaders to give, constructive, positive discipline that actually allows the person, if they're ready, they could be in a fixed mindset, they may not be ready to grow, but you can still deliver the feedback in a way that gives them the opportunity to walk away with a positive experience. So through positive psychology, you can definitely discipline, you can fire, you can do all these kind of things through a positive psychology lens. It's not just emotional coddling and rainbows and unicorns. You can have very challenging conversations.
As you say, dehumanizing, because that's where it's all moving to. It's all numbers, it's all costs, it's all AI, it's all taking the people out of things. And I think that's where a lot of the issues are coming from at the moment. I see it in a lot of workplaces where it's that the people has been taken out of it. The heart has been taken out of those companies. So it's amazing what as you say, it's not just the positive flighty, feminine energies, let's talk about our feelings, but it's not taking the complete human out of the work as well.
It's just respecting our needs as humans to connect, to belong, to feel respected. So I think positive psychology and leading through that really makes you be a respectful leader.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Valentyna, your turn. Tell us a little bit about your audience, and obviously, your patients would be the first one, but there's more to that story, surely.
Absolutely. My book is written for anyone and everyone, because anyone of any age can develop back pain. Now, I have had teenagers come into me who have developed back pain, and children of any age should not be experiencing any kind of pain. So my theory is that a functional scoliosis develops from repeatedly turning to the left. And so these kids, when I ask them, and I ask the parents, what has this child been doing? He's training, he's really getting into his tennis, or he's really getting into his cricket or his golf. For any that repeated twisting to the left can really set up back pain. And so once you point that out both to the young person or anyone of any age, look at your habits, look at what you've done, look at what you've done over your life. Start using your left hand more and turning to the right. So my book is written for anyone of any age. My youngest patient, I think, would have been 9. My oldest patient, 96. And they all have responded to the simple advice. So anyone of any age can basically manage these exercises if you need to. If you can't do them on the floor, you can do them on the bed. If the person is unfortunately not able to get up and move around much whilst you're sitting, you can still set up your maybe your drink and maybe your remote control or your book off to the right hand side of you. Reach with your left hand across your body. There are ways that you can modify this protocol and still get some benefit out of it. So it's for anyone and everyone, anyone who likes lots of pictures in their book, because there's lots of photographs and things. Anyone and everyone.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Lovely. Laurie, your turn. Sorry, I'm hogging the conversation.
No, that's great. I absolutely love hearing what inspires everyone to write their books. So going on to the book side of things now, what got you into, okay, I'm going to write a book. Someone suggested write a book. What did you do next? How did you go about writing the book? How did you to put it together? Did you have any help or any advice that anyone gave you? Or you just tell us a bit about your book journey. So, Debbie, do you want to jump in?
I ended up taking some long service leave. I had not planned on writing the book then and there. I'd left one school and I was planning to go to another job within the education department that ended up not happening. The story is in the book. I assumed it was going to, and it didn't. So I had a whole term, which is like 10 weeks, plus the school holidays either side. And I decided in the Christmas holidays, oh, I've got a term off. I might write a book. Funny you should say, Valentyna. I actually bought myself a stand-up desk when I realised what
I'm
I was
impressed.
doing. It goes up and down because I thought, right, I'm not used to sitting for long periods of time. I'm used to skipping in circles.
Rainbows and unicorns.
That's right. So that's my branding. So I thought I might write this book. I think I will write it this term. So I wrote my book in 4 months.
Well, can I just do a little round of applause there because yay, 4 months to write a book. Brilliant. And deadlines.
But the only way I could do it was to not work. Like I could never have done that. And I just said to myself, I used to set myself little targets. I started for, oh, look, if I can just write 300 words today. And I ended up, that varied. I did various tables. But mostly my aim was write every day. And as long as I did that, I was okay. And when I
A bit at a time, builds up.
it does.
Stalagmite.
In fact, you might read about that in the Stalagmite Effect by Debbie O'Shea. Okay, so I just did it a little bit every day. And the days that I thought I've run out of stories, I've run out of ideas, and I would inevitably the next morning, or worse still, 3 a.m., wake up and go, I know what I could write about. And it was a really exciting time in my life. Like I feel completely privileged to have that time paid. I'd earned it.
Yes,
But
earned it,
it's
long
still,
service leave.
it's still a privilege, though, to be able to access things like that. I think we should not take that for granted in our world. I think gratitude is part of, well, that's talked a lot about in the book. And I loved that time where my mind was free to have the back burner. I love back burner things and developing things and popping things in. So that's how I wrote it. I walk every day on my bush track with my dog. Bush track's just around the corner. And I would have my phone and I would talk in bits, like, oh, gee, we're lucky to have this technology. Or I would sit out here at my desktop, or I've got a laptop that I would carry around everywhere. So as long as I kept adding to it, I trusted something would come out. Does that answer your question, or did I digress?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I was going to say, because the writing journey quite often is that little bit by little bit by little bit putting things together. How about very quickly before we jump on, how about with the putting the book together format wise, or
Okay.
how did you break it down into chapters? What was your focus?
All right. Are you ready for the truth?
Yeah.
And you'll keep rolling no matter what I say. Okay. Claude helped me quite a lot. All right. I got to the stage I don't have an editor. I paid to have it self-published, and it cost quite a lot. And so I used AI. which I know there are some authors out there saying, don't you dare. But I can tell you it would not have happened without that. And by me putting that in and asking questions like, how does this look as a chapter? Oh, you could do another personal story. It might tell me you've got the teaching's covered. Well, I was standard. The teaching bit's covered. But is there another story from your family that could illustrate that point? And then I would think about that. So the actual putting it together and structuring it, and making sure the formatting aligned with the self-publication. I could have paid the self-publishers even thousands more, but I got AI to help me with those elements. So it was just me and AI.
All right.
But
Hacia,
all the
how did
original
you,
work is yours, yeah. So
Yes.
it's good, yeah.
Hacia, how did you go about your writing journey?
Yeah, so I work very closely with my publisher. She was also, I guess, my book coach, my accountability coach, my brainstorm buddy as well. So, and she's American, so that was really good in helping kind of bridge the differences between Australian culture and workplace culture, bouncing off her ideas around the American way of life too, so I can kind of position the book that was relevant in both markets as well. And she connected me with some of her other authors as well. So we had a little bit of a support group as well to bounce things off each other and do things like that. I did a lot of research as well. So again, like Debbie, I have to admit the AI definitely helped me find the right positive psychology articles to read into and different things like that. So I didn't spend hours and hours in databases. I definitely used the AI inside a lot of the databases too to really help me in the right direction. And same again, so I'm supporting you here, Debbie, with a lot of the interviews that I did and the transcripts. I kind of put that into AI to get them to kind of summarize it, really pick up some of the themes that were happening, connect that to the different positive psychology frameworks, and then take it and put it all in my own words and everything like that. So my co-writer was definitely helping me with that structure and with that overwhelm when you're doing so much research and then interviews, putting my own personal stories into it, getting a bit lost in the weeds as you do. That definitely was a good helper to put enough structure to then take it to my publisher, who would give me some guidance and kind of high level sign off. And then the next process for me was very much a full-on editing process. So I worked with an amazing editor who had a master's in literature, and that was an incredible process just to be able to see it from, I guess, that academic lens of literature and the structure, and he very much moved a lot of different parts around, connected things that in my head made sense because it's my life, it's my work, and I can easily jump from A to C, just zooming past B. But for him reading it, he's like, yeah, we need to go a little bit unpack B. I know that you know it, but the reader is kind of doesn't really understand how you got to C without unpacking the B side of it. So that was a really fantastic process, a brutal process. Definitely was a brutal process. It was definitely uncomfortable. It was definitely some moments that had some tears, and I had to lean on my positive psychology not to go into a tailspin of negative thinking and like, why should I even publish this book when you get your manuscript back with like
Covered.
lots of red, lots of notes, lots of lines, lots of suggestions. You're like,
yep, I hear you.
Yeah, so that was a massive growth moment as an author, to step into that space of this is professionalism when you're an author. This is the critical feedback. It just is so much more brutal when it comes in like red lines and big notes versus sitting down with your manager of like, we need to have a chat about your recent performance kind of thing. So I would definitely say when you're working with good quality editors, the process is brutal, and it needs to be brutal to get a best-selling book out of you.
Yeah. I hear that every edit letter I've had back, I've cried over. No matter what it was, every single one.
Yeah. So for all the authors out there about to
Yes.
go through an editing process, be
Perseverance.
brave, invest
Mm.
in tissues, and just keep going. Take the notes, but also don't take the notes and lose the soul. I pushed back on some of the notes and said, no, that's taking the book in the direction it's not meant to, or that's not in a line with how I see it and things like that. So you also have to, it's really, really scary pushing back against a very credible editor. But that's the other part. I would say my advice for authors is you got to be brave enough to take the feedback on board and push yourself, but also brave enough to realize when it is feedback that just doesn't align with the heart and soul of the book that you want to write.
That's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous. Some advice. Valentyna, how did your
Yes.
journey go?
Um, I was getting to the point, as I was saying, of having so much knowledge and information that I was struggling to get across effectively to patients. And one day, one of my patients said to me that she had had a book self-published. And I stopped and I thought about it and I thought, oh, I can do that. So I approached a self-publishing company in Adelaide, had a meeting with the man who was running the business, and this is what I found out afterwards, further down the track. He said to me, "Well, okay then, all right, back pain, yes, very good. Now, how many words do you have?" Well, I'm not really sure. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, it's not written yet." And he told me afterwards, he went, "Oh, yeah, here we go." And so he goes, 10,000 words. And in my head, it was like, oh, yeah, I can do 10,000 words. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I had a massive panic. And so I went, he said, all right, go away, write it, and come back. So it was all there. And it was just, bleh. It just all came out. I already had a good idea of my structuring, how I wanted to do it. I did it in about, I don't know, 3 months, something like that. I took it back. It was professionally edited, and I was very happy with the editing. I had a wonderful former patient who took a professional photographer who took all these photos for me,
Wow.
refused to be paid for it. I mean, I was just so lucky. So many people assisted me along the way. And so from the meeting that I had to the actual book launch was 6 months. So
Wow.
Wow.
it came together quickly, and I was really happy. Now that first book was back in 2021. It had a different title, which I loved because it was my title. But then afterwards you go, maybe people who look at it on the bookshelf won't realize it's about back pain. All right, so
Hmm.
I went back to them and said, what can we do with this? And so we changed the title to Banishing Back Pain, which stands out. Tweaked a few bits and pieces. I put in an extra chapter, I put in more explanations, I put in case studies, and we relaunched it last year in September. And the whole process has been fantastic because working as a physio, you're doing it as a manual therapist, as I am. It's lots of hands-on, lots of touching, lots of processing, what we call clinical reasoning, which is incredibly important. But this is a different thing again. It's a creative process where you actually put down your thoughts and your reasoning for what you're doing and how it's impacted people. How, as I said, I worked it all out on myself. It was a fantastic experience. I loved it. So anyone who's thinking of self-publishing, find your passion. If that's what you want to do is write a book, find your passion, find a good self-publishing company, or go to a regular publisher and just go for it. Feed on your passion because that is what will get you through the tough times. You know what you want to achieve. You may not be sure. Ask people. There's lots of advice and stuff you can get out there. Just do it and set yourself the task. I love your idea of Debbie of writing every day 300 words. I can't remember. It was all a blur because I was still working. But it was like, I know what I want to achieve and when I want to achieve it by, and it was just head down, bum up. And I really enjoyed the whole process. It was fantastic.
That's
Brilliant.
wonderful. Yeah.
Who are great writers and as fiction writers who's, sometimes the dribble and 20 minutes on a train. I love the fact that Debbie, 4 months, Valentyna, 3 months. Oh,
Yeah.
Hacia, we didn't hear. How long
Yes.
was your book from sort of go to woe?
That would have been, I started speaking with my publisher in November 2023, and it was published in November last year, so 2025. So a couple of years
Fantastic.
process. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Wow.
fantastic though. It's
Yeah.
just incredibly impressive. Now, I want to say, as nonfiction, people often use their book as part of their work, and I'm sure all of you do as well. But do you think these days that books are as impactful in sharing a message as other avenues, such as social media or blogs or school visits, Debbie, or, interviews, Hacia? What do you think, or where does a book sit in terms of your drive to get your message out? What do you think has been most impactful? So let's go, round the other way. Valentyna.
I think all of it is important, but for me, I like the idea that the person has a hard copy or an ebook, and they can always go back and refer to it. They can look at pictures, they can go back to the videos. I mean, I didn't put the exercises in the book, mainly because when you draw pictures and write descriptions, people invariably misinterpret them, and so they don't get the full effect of the protocol. So to go with the book, I've got all the exercises on the website, but they're also available on YouTube. It's all free. All the
That's
information really
fantastic.
is free. And to help explain to people, because when I mention a functional scoliosis, people, what? Scoliosis. Often younger women panic because well, I shouldn't laugh, because having a structural scoliosis will potentially involve surgery, and that's where their mind goes. I said, no, it's the way you're using your body. If it's your habits that are leading to this, exercise and change your habits, and
Habits.
it's all manageable. It is all manageable. So I've put up little videos, on short videos on social media, on YouTube, explaining what that is, how I believe it develops, what my process is, etc. But also inspiring people. I've had people come back to me and say, well, I've had back pain all my life. No one's ever told me I've got a functional scoliosis. So I explain, in my experience, they can be incredibly subtle. And if you don't know what you're looking for, they can be easily overlooked. And so if that person gives you a history of, back pain improves, it's great. And then within 3 months, it's back again. And then I have more treatment and it's back again. Something is being overlooked. Something is being missed. And people resonate with that story quite clearly. I say, this is why it may be overlooked. Look for this. And I explain in the book how you can look in the mirror and decide for yourself, maybe you do have a functional scoliosis. So that already starts them on that particular journey. And once people start seeing changes in terms of their flexibility, in terms of their pain, in terms of general ability to do things, people are hooked, because it's simple and it's manageable, and people will keep doing it. What will happen sometimes, though, is people can get a bit, I was so good, I just stopped. And then 6 months later, they come back and they're a bit hangdog and they got their tail between their legs. And I just say, well, that's okay. We just kickstart you, off you go. But it's another lesson. You've realized that has made a significant difference for you. You have the power to change it. Let's just start again. Just kickstart, and off we go.
Hacia, your suite of channels to get your message out there. Tell us about those.
I know we hear this word in marketing all the time, the funnel. And I think
Yes.
the book kind of sits in the middle of a funnel. So for me, someone will see like a social media post, attention so short, if you've got them on a 30-second reel, and if that's a 30-second reel related to the podcast, and then they get to the podcast, they listen to the 20-minute podcast, then they're more likely to come back to the social media, get hit with a couple more reels, and then all of a sudden they're like, actually, I want to go read the book. I definitely want to turn my book into an audio book, because that's a lot of the feedback that I get with people sitting on the train and driving to work and things like that. So I think that's another important thing around the message in the book, making sure it is dynamic enough to be consumed in this modern, crazy, busy life of ours, and definitely want to pivot into an audio book. And then for me, that's kind of one area. And then people get the book and sometimes will turn into a client, or I get messages about how like they've got their highlighters and their notes and they're, you know, going through the book and they've bought it for their team, and that's how the message grows. And then as well with clients and things like that, it's very much if you want me to be your executive coach or consulting. A lot of my keynotes, I give the book away as a gift and will actually refer to some of the chapters that my keynote is connected to. So then the book for me very much doubles almost as a workbook and a reinforcing message from my keynotes or my executive coaching as well. And a lot of my clients will come back and be like, I know I can't call you up all the time and ask questions. I do go to the book and kind of go, remember when she was talking about X, Y, and Z, and she says it's in chapter 6, and so that they go back. And that's how I really wanted to write the book. So it was an actual kind of Bible. It was applicable. People could sticky note it, go back to it. We forget things, we apply things, and then just as we're saying with our back pain, we get distracted and we forget to do a regular gratitude practice, for example. And it's like, I can't remember the gratitude practice she was referring to. So yeah, I think it depends what style of book you're writing. So mine is kind of a marketing funnel to get a client, but then it's also a workbook for my clients. But I think for any author out there, you've got to understand people's attention spans are so short. We need to then create that mini versions, whether that is LinkedIn posts or mini reels to get them to a podcast, to get them to the book, etc., etc. I think unfortunately, especially for the younger generation, they're not so much walking into bookstores and buying a book just off the shelf. It's got to come from some kind of social media or podcast to encourage them to get a book in their hands.
Debbie.
Oh, I can resonate with both of you ladies. I'm planning on recording an audio book probably next year. I'm retiring from teaching this year and I'm going to be a full-time edupreneur. But as for book, that's what I'm calling myself.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah. Look, there's just something about a look, a feel, and a smell of a real book. I mean, there's always a place for books as far as I'm concerned, but realistically, and sort of why I did it, you could almost say it's like a very expensive business card. I think it adds a credibility, I think, to my work. I'm hoping it adds, she's written a book. I mean, self-published, all done myself, so anyone can literally do it, but it still adds a little credibility. But I have a membership site, a podcast coming up to 200 episodes. I do webinars. I have a YouTube channel, all my socials. I have courses. So like I've got a big online presence. So it's just part of my suite of content, if you like. But I think it summarizes, in a way, captures my philosophical stance, my mindset. It sends the message about kindness and gratitude and self-improvement and improvement of others. I think that's a really, like, self-help. It's not just a self-help book. It's a help others book. I think that's a really important difference in this. It's not just about self-improvement and incremental. It's how you can build others up. So the question is, the answer to your question is, I think there's a place for the book, but I think books hold a different place now. But I'm hoping all of my other things might lead people to my book, or my book might bring people to all of my other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Book funnel, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Laurie, we've got one more
Yes.
time for one more question, if people are okay with that.
Well, I was going to say, what's next? What's next for you all? You've got this book.
Yes.
Are you writing another one? Hacia, do you want to jump in?
Yes, I am in the process of researching my next one. So, literally this week we started our LinkedIn outreach to leaders and everything to see if they're willing to jump on the call with me for half an hour for me to interview them. As a thank you, they will get a copy of my current book. And their insights will be involved in my next book, which is very much following the concept of the Phoenix process. We have to go through this process of often burning ourselves down to the ground, down to the ashes. And then as we rise into the next evolution of who we are as a human, who we are as a leader, we need to understand what we take from those ashes and what we need to let go, and kind of the grieving process of letting go of the person that got you to where you are in your career and your personal journey, but it's not going to get you where you're going. And again, bringing positive psychology into how do we navigate those moments of grieving who we were so that we can become who we need to be.
Lovely. Valentyna?
I have one book and one book only in my life, and that is it. So I don't have any plans to write anymore. I'm a bit like Debbie. I'm winding down and exploring other things that other opportunities have come up for me in a totally different field, which is fantastic in music, Debbie. So I'm quite excited about that. So, and travel. And who knows, there may be something further down the track. But this book basically encapsulates my 46 years of experience. It's distilled it all down. Patients say to me, but what about this? And I say, it's all in the book. It's all in the book. It's all in the book. And I keep redirecting. But I mean, patients, the book sits on my desk. I don't push that onto people. People can see that it's there. People can read my bio on the practice's website. If people approach me, that is fantastic. If they don't, that's fine too. I didn't write the book from the point of view of making millions and branching out into another sort of career. No, it was really to encapsulate everything that I've been able to achieve. It's there as a resource for people. And I just want to get the knowledge out there because I just want more people to know relief is within reach,
Oh, lovely
Nice.
soundbite right
Nice.
there. And Debbie?
It's a great legacy.
I am very much looking forward to the future of being a full-time businesswoman, having been a part-time businesswoman officially for 26 years. I've been running my business part-time and I'm ready to do it full-time. I'm very excited. I would like to write another book. I know what it's about. I've even got a structure, but there's so much to do. I don't know if I will get to carve out the time or how I'll do it, but it's called Let Them Play. And it's about allowing children and adults. In fact, at first it was about children, but then I realized, no, we need to be reminded to play, to allow time to be a little bit bored so that your mind can drift and you can be creative. We need to stop putting children through practice NAPLAN tests and let them sing and play with blocks. And I just think the pendulum has swung too far away from play in its many forms. Like for me, singing songs in a circle is playing, even though we're all following the same rules. But anyway, that's too much information. Let Them Play is the working title of the book I hope I will get to write in the future.
Where is the best place to find you, Debbie? Let's go with you.
The best place to find me is crescendo.com.au. My business is Crescendo Music Education. And
Beautiful.
all of the socials, you can get the book on Amazon or wherever. But to connect with me, probably just crescendo.com.au.
Lovely. All right. Hacia, where's your best connection?
So haciaatherton.com is the website, LinkedIn, Hacia Atherton, Instagram, Hacia Atherton. So yeah, nice and simple there.
Excellent.
Valentyna?
Valentyna.
So you can contact me via my website, which is banishingbackpain.com.au. The book is available via the website, but it's also available in local independent bookshops here in Adelaide, mostly books, and Matilda's books up in Stirling. But also it's available on Amazon and Booktopia. But there is a contact page down the bottom to contact me directly via the website, banishingbackpain.com.au, if people would like to do so.
That is absolutely brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
So Debbie O'Shea, author of The Stalagmite Effect, Valentyna Solowij, author of Banishing Back Pain, and Hacia Atherton, author of $1 Billion Blindspot. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah,
It has been fascinating. We could talk for hours, but these episodes are supposed to be only an hour long. So there we go. Can I ask you to please help us with our tagline, which is, of course, to remember to read more Aussie books. So are you ready?
Yes.
Please
Absolutely.
remember, everybody, to read
Read
more.
more
Oh, wait, no,
Aussie
we've had a little
Aussie
bit. Okay,
books.
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Let's meet again when magic happens.